Hey guys, it's me, Carrie, and I have gotten some more wonderful questions. I'm so stoked, you guys. After I filmed my last Q&A video, which was part 3, I got some really great questions from a subscriber named Michelle, and she asked 12 questions in all. So this is going to be a whole video dedicated to Michelle's questions. And I read a few of them, but not all. I try, like I said in my other videos, not to look at the questions beforehand because I like to answer with as much spontaneity and in the moment as I can. And Brandy, this is for you, that I'm trying to do this in landscape view again. I hope I'm looking at the camera correctly. I do have a tripod now, thanks to my husband, but I tend to have difficulty sometimes when I film in landscape view looking at the screen. So I tend to be looking off to the side, and that's why when I'm on camera, I tend to shoot in portrait mode, which is the vertical. And when I'm not on camera, I shoot more in landscape mode, which is horizontal. But I'm trying this for you, Brandy, because she asked if I would be shooting more videos in this format. So we'll see how it goes, guys. But anyway, question number 1 from Michelle is, what word do you always misspell? Bureaucracy. I've been writing that word quite a bit the past couple days because I'm really fucking irritated with the Social Security Administration. That's a whole long story that I don't want to get into right now, but I've had to spell bureaucracy like 3 different times, and I've spelled it wrong each and every time. So that's an easy one. I'm actually a really good speller typically, but that's a tough word. I have to remember bureau, like a bureau drawer, and then ocracy, like rocracy. I don't know. It's just difficult for me. And on a related note, grammar-wise, I know you didn't ask about grammar, Michelle, but I always forget when you're supposed to put the apostrophe in its and when you're not. I used to think that the apostrophe meant it is, but apostrophe means it's a possessive, and I don't know why. As an English major, I always fuck that up, but I do fuck that up quite frequently. So that's just another little thing. But okay, let's see. Question number 2, what food do you crave the most? It's really a boring, typical answer, especially for a female, but chocolate probably. I don't tend to get a lot of cravings for specific foods, more for a specific flavor or like taste profile. Like, you know, I'll get a craving for salt, so I'll want to eat chips or something, but it doesn't have to be chips. It just has to be something salty. And same with sweet. I don't get cravings for anything specific generally, but I guess if I had to choose, especially when I'm, you know, being visited by Aunt Flo or about to be, it's chocolate. And I know that's a boring, typical woman answer, but it's true. All right, number 3, what is the silliest thing you get nostalgic for? That's a thought-provoking question. I am very, very sensitive, and I'm very, very much an empath. So I get all the feels all the time. In terms of nostalgia specifically, and I wouldn't necessarily, I can speak. Me talk pretty one day. I wouldn't say it's silly, but honestly, I get nostalgic for my father and for my brother when we were children. My dad died in 1989. My brother died in 2012. My brother and I were not close for many years. He was an alcoholic, and I'm sorry I'm looking down because I have the same issue I had with my first video where the picture keeps trying to autoplay another video and I lose my questions. That's what happens when I'm too lazy to write them down. But I get nostalgic for my family when we were in an intact family before my brother's drinking became an issue. And it became an issue when he was 15 and I was 18. So basically the first 18 years of my life, I get nostalgic for that time when I felt like my family was whole and intact and healthy, relatively speaking. My dad was, you know, in good health. My brother was in good health. There was no substance abuse issues. I mean, I was always fucked in the head, but that's been since birth. So that's my baseline. So I mean, there was never a time before I suffered depression and anxiety. But it's not really silly, but that's the thing I get nostalgic for more than anything else. Specifically family vacations in Anna Maria Island, Florida. I kind of alluded to that in a past Q&A video, but the times that we spent down there with my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, and Aunt Sally were really, really special times. And if I could go back and like revisit a period of my life, I would love to revisit those times. They were really amazing. My mom keeps promising that she and I will go back to Anna Maria Island someday, but I don't know. Not holding my breath. We'll see. Okay, number 4. When is lying the right thing to do? I'm very much of the school that lying is never the right thing to do. And when it comes to big things, I never lie. I have in the past, certainly. I mean, who hasn't? But I make it a point to be really, really honest. But I can't say brutally honest. Like, I think there's a fine line between a white lie and just being kind. Like, if a friend is trying on a new dress and they say, does this dress make my ass look big? I'm not going to lie and say, oh my God, no, you look fabulous. That's the most gorgeous dress I've ever seen you wear. But I might say, it's not my favorite, so I won't lie, outright and tell them, no, your ass looks beautiful in that dress if it really doesn't. But I'm also not going to say, oh God, are you kidding me, fat ass? No, don't wear that. So, I would skate around the truth, but I would find a way to do it in a way that is honest. So, no, I don't think it's my favorite thing I've ever seen you wear, I think is not lying. But at the same time, it's not being awful and saying, yes, that dress makes your ass look big. So in terms of just little things like that, and I don't even necessarily consider them white lies because technically you are being honest, you're just being evasive and not answering the question directly. So I don't honestly think lying is ever the right thing to do. That's just how I choose to live my life. Number 5, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? First instinct is crab. I love crab legs. And I don't know, like every time I eat them, I'm just so happy. But sometimes people don't cook them properly. They're boiled in the water too long and they get soggy and they get like to the point where there's no flavor. The person may not salt the water properly. So, and there's not really, like, I like crab rangoon and I like, oh God, they made this thing when we used to go to Ocean City, Maryland, in the seafood place, Phillips Seafood Restaurant, called Crab Imperial. That was kind of like the equivalent of a baked clam, but it was like baked crab in a shell. It was super delicious. So especially if I could have it cooked a variety of ways, probably crab, maybe shrimp though, because I also like shrimp a whole hell of a lot. One of those two. Definitely some type of seafood, if I had to choose. It would be very hard to give up sweets, but yeah, that would nourish me a little bit better than just eating chocolate all day, every day for the rest of my life. Okay. Number 6, what product would you stockpile if you found out they weren't going to be available anymore? If I really sat and pondered this question for a long time, I'm sure I'd come up with a much more rational, logical answer. But right now, off the top of my head, only because it just came up in conversation a couple of days ago, is one particular lipstick, my very, very, very favorite lipstick in life. It's Revlon Lip Butter. And the color is, I know it's 085. I think it's Sugar Plum. But I think they just call it Revlon Color Burst Lip Butter. And I haven't been able to find it in stores in ages. I actually do have one that I've almost completely used up in my pocketbook. And I have 2 others that I bought on Amazon. So I wouldn't say that's necessarily a stockpile, having just 2 backups, but if they ever stopped making that lipstick or I found out they were going to, I'd buy a ton because it's the perfect color for me, I think. It's really moisturizing. Like it's as effective as a lip balm. It's so moist. It's long lasting. I've had every time I wear it, almost literally without fail, I can say pretty much every time I've worn it, I've had somebody compliment it and ask what color it is. So it's really a great color for just about everybody. And I am obsessed with it. I don't wear a lot of makeup, obviously. You watch my videos, so you see that there's not often makeup on my face unless I'm reviewing something. But yeah, that Revlon Color Burst Lip Butter, I want to say it's called Sugar Plum, but I know it's 085. Please don't go on Amazon and buy them all up, because I would be devastated if I couldn't find any more. But I'm telling you, it is a really great color. So yeah, that would probably be it. Okay, 7 is, if you opened a restaurant, what kind of restaurant would it be? That would be a much better question for my husband, because my husband is the chefy cook in the family. I don't know how to prepare much of anything. I don't cook at all. I make a mean omelet, and I make good grilled cheese, and I know how to make ramen. I know how to boil water and put noodles in it, but I don't cook. As far as what I like to eat, it would be a seafood place, but let's say it's my first instinct, but at the same time, I'm a comfort food girl, so I would want something that serves all kinds of comfort food, delicious chicken pot pies and meatloaf and shepherd's pie, and like a really good pot roast with potatoes and carrots, and just, yeah, I would want a comfort food place. Obviously, good burger, that's a classic. But yeah, I would want a comfort food place that's just like really warm and cozy, not necessarily a very big place, just a place that people could come and chill and not feel rushed and be able to just sit and enjoy a meal with good friends or family, or even on their own, and just go, wow, this reminds me of what my mom or my grandma or my father or my grandfather, whoever used to make. This gives me feels. Food is definitely associated with emotions for me, so I would definitely want it to be some type of comfort food place, but there'd have to be a seafood dish on there somewhere. All right, number 8. Would you go to another planet, even if it meant you could never return to Earth? No, absolutely not. Even though I think Earth is fucked in a million ways, it's the only planet I've ever lived on, and I love the devil is kind of less frightening than the devil you don't. So as messed up as this planet is, I don't have that kind of curiosity and courage to want to explore in that type of way. So no, I wouldn't, especially because that would mean I would have to leave everyone I love behind. So no, I would not want to do that. Even if I could return, I don't know that I'd go to another planet. I mean, unless it became, like going to another city or another state, when it became routine, I would be too afraid. So no, that's an easy one for me. I would not. 9. These are really thought-provoking. Wow. Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life? Neither, honestly. I have thought so many times that I would love to go back and change this or change that. There's a lot of shit in my past that I wish I'd done differently. I'm sure that's probably true for almost everyone. And as okay as my life is right now, relatively speaking, I hope that there's a lot more better. Yeah, an English major. I really was one. I think there's a lot better ahead in life for me. At least I hope that there is. So even though right now is okay, I wouldn't want to linger here longer than the natural time I'm supposed to. And if I had a rewind button, I would change so much that I don't know where I'd be now. My husband says that all the time. He's like, you can't live in the past. You can't regret any decisions that you've made, because if you'd changed even one little thing, the butterfly effect, maybe we wouldn't be together now. Maybe life would be completely different in a bad way, and there's nothing to say that life wouldn't have worked out better, but there's no way of knowing that. So to tamper with the past would be way too scary. So I would not choose either option. I would just keep going the way I'm going. And you didn't ask this, but if I could jump ahead to the future, like without losing like lifespan, just like jump ahead a year, but not actually like, be a year older, if that makes any sense, I wouldn't want to do that either. Just no time travel, no altering of any of that. I'm actually really afraid to see a psychic even, because I feel like whatever I found out would alter the way I lived the rest of my life. And I've had several friends that have seen psychics and said, oh, no, they don't tell you anything bad. And it's actually really insightful and interesting. In fact, I even had a friend see a psychic who swore she saw my dead brother. So there's that, but I'm just so afraid of fucking with that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm good where I am, I think. Okay, number 10. Would you rather never age mentally or physically? Again, that's fucking with the time continuum. So I would probably say I mean, if I had to choose, I would rather never age. That's really a difficult question. My immediate thought was physically, because I feel like where I am mentally is a relatively good place. I mean, I'm reasonably intelligent at this point. I don't have I have a pretty shitty memory. I wouldn't want my memory to deteriorate any more than it already has. But to have physical limitations would suck too. So if I had the choice, I guess I would rather never age. I'd rather never age. That's really, really a hard question. I guess mentally, I would rather never age mentally, because if that means I'm going to lose my memory and become, less lucid than I am now, and I'm already not all that lucid and together. Aging physically is just a part of the natural progression. I mean, aging mentally is too, but aging physically, I feel like there'd just be more wear, and obviously physical wear and tear. There'd be more wear and tear on my body, whereas mentally, I'm kind of contradicting myself now, because that's making it sound like I'd rather not age physically. No, but I don't want to lose any of my mental capabilities. And if aging, in the way you're asking the question, if aging mentally means, losing my memory and losing my acuity, then I would not want that to happen. I would rather age physically and still have my brain intact. I think my mom just got home, so I'm going to pause real quick while she comes in the house, and then we will answer your last 2 questions. But these are great, Michelle. All right, guys, sorry about that. We almost made it. All right, we have 2 questions left. Number 11, would you rather be locked in a library or an amusement park? When I was younger, that would have been a much more difficult question. It's still a little bit hard because I do love amusement parks, but it's a library. I mean, amusement parks are kind of hard on my body sometimes now. I used to be such a fanatic for roller coasters, and I still absolutely love them. But if they're not either just like, if they're old school roller coasters and they just go up and down hills and they're a little bit like rocky on the tracks, I'm okay with that. But if it's an upside down roller coaster that's not really modern and really smooth and seamless on the track, a lot of times I find like that herky-jerky motion really hurts my back and my neck, and I can't handle that anymore. So, yeah, and I love books. I've loved reading since I was 3, so to be locked in a library would be pretty much heaven. So I'm gonna go with, although amusement parks have all the good food, they have funnel cakes and ice cream and hot dogs and slushies and all this stuff I like. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I was locked in the library, I would have to eat at some point, so there would be some option to have food brought in or whatever. So we'll go with library. Yeah, for sure, library. Okay, and number 12, last but certainly not least, because these are all amazing questions, Michelle, and I'm so grateful to you for submitting them. What event in your life would make a good movie? I don't think my life is that interesting, to be honest. I can't think of any part of my life that anybody would really want to watch. It's not that exciting. Can I cheat a little and say my novel? Even though my novel is fiction, I think my novel would make a good movie. I think my novel would make an excellent movie. I'm still currently working on it, and not even near the shopping it around for agents and trying to get it published phase, because I still have lots more to write. But I think my book would make a good movie. So I know that's totally cheating, because I mean, there are semi-autobiographical references in the book for sure, and people who know me really well will probably pick up on them. But for the most part, it's a work of fiction. Yeah, I don't know that anything that's ever happened in my life is movie worthy. I mean, made for TV movie worthy if you were to extend it to, like, you know, my father's illness and ultimate passing and my brother's alcoholism and all of the ugliness attached to that kind of shit. That would be like a TV movie that would have aired in the 80s, and I don't know, I would have probably been played by like Nancy McKeon or somebody awesome like that rocked 80s TV movies. I would like to aspire to that. Nancy McKeon actually was born here on Long Island, very close to where I live, so that's kind of a cool thing. I've always enjoyed her work, but yeah, I don't think my life is nearly interesting enough to make a movie out of, not even a 30-minute like sitcom. But I wish, although kind of I don't wish, because sometimes, you know, slow and steady wins the race, right? And having, you know, a kind of simple life is better than all the ups and downs and rocky turmoil that, you know, some people have to live with all the time. I've certainly had phases of my life that have been like that, but knock on wood, not currently. So anyway, thank you so much, Michelle, for the fantastic list of questions. They were really, really creative. And as I've said many times before, I love doing Q&As. So you guys can literally submit Q&A questions on any of my videos. You know, do it from this video forward so I don't miss them. I do get notifications when people post comments, but it would be best if you know, do it on videos from this one forward, so that I'm sure not to miss them. And I will definitely jot them down and keep track for future videos. But thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope this was enjoyable for you. Brandy, I hope that I looked to the center of the camera so that shooting in this landscape mode isn't too distracting for anybody. I feel like I'm kind of looking forward, although God, my eyes are so squinty. I have like big enough bags so I could take a trip around the world. Couldn't be a carry video without me disparaging myself in some way, right? But anyway, that's beside the point of landscape or portrait mode. My eyes aren't going to change. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for the questions, Michelle. Thank you to every one of you who has watched this video and watched this series of videos. I really appreciate it a lot. I think we can give you a little footage of my Sydney sleeping on the couch. Can you see him back there? Can you see him? You can kind of see him behind the candle. My little orange Bubba. He's sleeping. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I will be back soon with more stuff. Bye, guys.